Democrats start to react to the Menendez bribery scandal. They say he should resign, but they say Joe Biden, who did much the same thing as Menendez, is perfectly innocent, still exonerated, even though we've got tons of evidence that were considered to be overt acts for Menendez. Those same overt acts, for some reason, don't apply to Joe. But they say that Menendez needs to go. Not so for Joe. This is Representative Phillips, who got asked about this right as the news broke. What do you think should happen with Menendez?
Just first on the Menendez news, there's obviously very serious allegations against the Democratic senator. Do you believe that he should resign from the Senate?
Well, first of all, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, thank goodness, still in our country. But I'm appalled. Anybody who pays attention, I don't care your politics, Democrat or Republican, you should be appalled. A member of Congress who appears to have broken the law is someone who I believe should resign. I think George Santos should have resigned already. Sadly, our House ethics process, and I would argue the Senate as well, is not as proficient as it needs to be. So we have to rely on the judicial system, but I'm really disappointed. And I have to say, in comparison to the President of the United States, of which there is no evidence whatsoever he's broken the law and yet is being subject to an impeachment inquiry, there is evidence here.
Okay, so the only difference between Hunter and Joe and Senator Menendez and Nadine is that Joe didn't have gold bars, as far as we can tell, that were located anywhere. He didn't have a Mercedes, but his son had a sports car. And Menendez was absolutely highly involved in this. We've got a lot more smoke with Joe. We don't have Joe sitting there on phone calls with corroborated evidence, because I don't think that they've looked for that corroborated evidence quite yet. But the overt acts that we've seen that justify the basis for the indictment, they're all there. They all match. We just read through them. So they'll still sit here and tell us that they are not the same, but there is nothing that Hunter was transacting for without Joe Biden. Like, they're missing that whole piece. It would be like Nadine, in this case, just Nadine operating on her own and being charged with a crime. She had nothing to give. There was nothing to exchange. Joe Biden doesn't have gold bars, but he's got something, and that's the point.
And yes, I'm a Democrat, so is Senator Menendez, but based on what I've seen, I'm disappointed. Yes, I think he should resign.
Do you think Democratic leaders should lean on him and push him out?
Look, I'm trying to restore faith in government. That's one of my missions. It's a lot of my colleagues' missions. And sometimes we got to walk that talk, even if it's uncomfortable. And I would argue that this time, yes, the answer is absolutely.
Turning now to the government shutdown, you have been working with...
All right, so they are calling for his resignation there. The governor out of New Jersey has also called for his resignation. This is what he posted today. He says, for immediate release from Governor Phil Murphy. Statement: the allegations in the indictment against Menendez and 4 other defendants are deeply disturbing, I'll say. These are serious charges that implicate national security and the integrity of our criminal justice system. Under our legal system, Senator Menendez and the other defendants have not been found guilty and will have the ability to present evidence disputing these charges, and we must respect the process. However, the alleged facts are so serious that they compromise the ability of Senator Menendez to effectively represent the people of our state. Therefore, I, Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey, am calling for Senator Menendez's immediate resignation. Woo! Yeah, that's a pretty spicy one. So you got 2 people now coming out to say it. We're asking ourselves, what is the Senate leader going to be saying? This is what Chuck Schumer said. Bob Menendez has been a dedicated public servant and is always fighting hard for the people of New Jersey. What? He has a right to due process and a fair trial, which I agree with. So does Joe Biden, by the way, when he gets the fair process of a fair charge. Senator Menendez has rightly decided to step down temporarily from his position as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee until the matter has been resolved. Until he goes to what, prison for this? So they're going to keep him around. This is basically what they did last time. They just kind of demoted him. All right, he dealt with his criminal, corruption. They all do it. So they just kind of set him on the sidelines for a little bit so he could heal up, and they put him back in the game. That's exactly what the Democrats are doing here today. Now, Karine got asked about this at the White House. Any comment on this, Karine, since one of your top senators, one of the leaders, the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, is involved in bribery schemes, and many of these same schemes mirror exactly what your candidate, your president, has done? Any comments, Karine?
First on Senator Menendez, did the White House know that an indictment was coming today, and does the president believe the senator should resign?
So a couple of things. I'm going to be really careful here. This is a not comment, because this is an active matter. We learned about this just like all of you, but again, this is an active matter, so I'm not going to comment.
Karine?
No comment on resignation.
I'm just active matter, not going to comment.
So that's Karine. Now, this is something we'll continue to cover, my friends. We'll see if more Democrats are in on the game, asking him to resign. Do you believe anything that this guy says at all, ever, again, in the future, ever? Probably not. But the Democrats will. Well, he's their man. And so, of course, they'll put up their force fields to support this guy, just like Chuck Schumer is doing, because really, they're probably all just as corrupt as he is. And my question is, what did he do to anger the deep state that now just initiated this new prosecution against him? Because we knew that he was corrupt for a long time. We know that he is not the only person who is corrupt. Other people like Vice President Biden, they get warned about FBI raids. They go to dinners all the time. There's no problems there. Hunter can get paid tons of money. There are suspicious activity reports. There are text messages. There are dinner meetings. There are golf outings. All the same stuff we saw in the indictment of Bob Menendez exists in the Hunter Biden case. But because he's their man and he's in the way of Donald Trump, they're going to give us a little scrap here. Hey, we indicted your guy 4 times. Here's one from our side, a throwaway. Senator Bob Menendez, somebody who's already as corrupt as can be. They just busted him. He was operating an open site, probably because it was acceptable, but now it's not. Now he's going to be made to be the scapegoat. Of course, he should be. All corrupt politicians should be prosecuted and thrown out of office immediately, every one of them. Equally, equal standards. That is not what we see in this country. Strange times ahead, my friends. One corrupt senator is now gone. We're hoping for many more. We'll continue to cover. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for visiting robertgovea.com and signing up for our newsletter there so you can get all of the news delivered straight to your inbox. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.